and welcome to Old Ways Gardening and Prepping. My name is Teresa. I'd like to welcome you to my backyard on this cooling down afternoon. We have storms coming and I'm trying to beat the rain. Today I'm going to be talking more about the garlic scapes since I didn't get to talk that much about them in my previous video because it was just too hot out here. Now all the cool breezes, the big hot ball in the sun is blocked, and it is nice out here. So let's show you what I'm talking about on garlic scapes. This is an elephant, this is an elephant garlic. This is what a scape is. It's the flower. And you want to cut it back, because if you don't, your garlic is not going to make cloves. It's going to be more interested in making this flour and making seeds, and you will not get a garlic harvest. So you need to cut them back. Now I have a bucket of water here, and I'm going to put them in as I cut them. And what you want to do is cut them down as close as you can. It doesn't hurt the plant, but it tells the plant, nope, we're not making seeds, we're going to be making bulbs. And what you do is you just continue to cut them back. And you just keep clipping them. Now I'm going to clip every one of these off because I have several videos I want to make using them and to bring you along with me in the process. Now I have younger ones that are just now shooting up scapes, which is fine. I'll get them at a later date. And oh, they smell just like the garlic, and they're wonderful. Now same goes for onions. Onions will shoot up scapes as well. You will want to cut them back also, unless you are growing the onions for seeds, which I am growing some of my onions for seeds, and I'm going to let them flower and make seeds for me. Simple, easy, you can do this. You just get the clippers to work. And just trim them off. A lot of these have gotten bigger than I wanted them to, but you know what? That's fine. I'm still going to use them. Now, it's usually your hard neck garlic varieties that will make the scapes. A lot of your soft necks won't, but you still have to cut them back. And I'm going to continue to harvest, and I'll show you the bucket when I get done. And I'll bring you back here in a little bit. Okay, welcome into the shed of many names. Now that you know how to harvest garlic scapes and what they are correctly, this is the last video in the garlic scape series this year, because this is the last of the harvest. And it's going to be a two-part video. It's going to have two different recipes in the same video of how to use them and store them and or process them. Now, today or this evening, this first recipe is really good. It not only makes one amazing flavorful vinegar that you can use for salad dressings, the basis for fire cider if you want to, but the end product after it's set and pickled for a while is some amazing pickled garlic scapes as well. Now I will have a third recipe in the description box below of actual canned garlic scape recipe, and they taste on the similar of dilly beans, and they're wonderful. So let's get started. Now, of course, in all things, make sure your workspace is sanitized. Everything that you're using is sanitized. Make sure your jars are absolutely clean and sanitize your knife, everything. So, we're going to take a jar here, take the lid off. Well, I'm going to do both jars at the same time, might as well. Not, two birds with one stone. Now, seasoning, of course, is optional. It's whatever you like, but let's get busy. Now, I'm using half-gallon jars. You can use pints. You can use quarts. You're just going to have to cut back on everything. I want a tablespoon of good dried oregano. I'm going to do all my spoon measures first. Oh no, I know they didn't. I want a good tablespoon of dill seed. And this is dried dill seed. And I really don't have to use a whole lot, but I really want to make sure it's good and garlicky. A tablespoon of minced garlic per jar. I know for some it might be garlic overload. You can definitely omit it. And since all my measuring's done with the spoon, about a teaspoon of whole black peppercorns. And like I said, everything is optional. It's up to you. It's your recipe. Now I want to give it a little zest, and yes, I'm using a pun. I'm going to use a medium-sized lemon. Make sure that they are washed very well, and you want to just slice them up. And if you're interested in growing your own citrus trees, definitely save the seeds. And you know my love affair with planting citrus trees. If you hold your lemons up to the light, you can make sure that you get all the seeds out. These are good and seedy, so I'm happy. Means even more lemon seeds to plant. And what I do, since I have some gnats in here, make sure you put your lid back on. trying not to cut or nick the seeds. These are good seeds too. Okay. And that way it'll keep the gnats at bay. Okay. Now you're going to take your garlic scape. This one, yeah, that whole one's going to go. And like I said, that's going to be the second part of this video. Don't throw away the hard pieces. You definitely want to keep them. You want to cut them in little bite-sized pieces because these are amazing. And like I said in the video the day before, you treat garlic scapes like you do asparagus, and you can find where the tender, where it snaps is where it starts being tender. Now if you get to harvest your garlic scapes earlier, you won't have to worry about looking for the tender. But yeah, I'm just really late this year and being able to harvest mine. And like I said, don't you worry, none of these are going to waste. And of course, make sure that your scapes are good and clean. And I'm going to try to fill this jar by about half. We'll see how well it goes. And what you're going to do is just continue to cut your garlic scapes, because once your vinegar's made, you can strain it, or if you're using like a half a gallon like I'm doing, you can also do these in a pickle jar as well. But you want to leave enough room so there's enough vinegar inside, and these will end up being pickled. Not only will they flavor your vinegar, but these will be sweet, well, not sweet, but they'll be great treats to snack on. I'm going to pause the video and bring you back as soon as I get done cutting these up. I'll see you back here in a bit. Okay, finally done. I almost made it to half per jar, and I'm glad I added the tablespoon of minced garlic. Now, also, with that all being said, you want to make sure that these are the tender part of the garlic scapes, because you will be eating these. You don't want to discard them, and you'll eat them once the pickling and making the vinegar process, or making the flavored vinegar process, is over with. And for those who are new to scapes, you can tell the difference between a tender part of the stalk and a tough part. You hear that crunchy noise? Those didn't crunch quite as much as some of the, let's try these. You got to use some, you can hear it. Whoop, aha, I'm glad I had my long shirt on. these are the tough ones. We're not going to waste these because this is my fault on me for letting them go for a little too long. But you know what? We're not going to waste these at all. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to get our vinegar. And this is apple cider vinegar. And we're going to fill it almost full. Isn't that a beautiful sight? And oh, it smells good already. Now, even though I don't like to, you're going to need to put something up here because this is pure vinegar. You don't want it touching your lid because it can cause it to corrode. Yes, I know people don't do this for pickle recipes, but guess what? Pickle recipes are watered down. Remember, you add water to the batch as well. And what I do is I double fold my plastic wrap. Put that on top. On that, you're not welcome. Put the lid and band on. Screw it down good and tight. Take your Sharpie marker. The one, you know, I got left at the house because I was been planting seeds. Write garlic Scape vinegar. And you can list everything that you put in it. Or if I was you, write the recipe in your notebook. So that way you have your recipe and you know exactly what's in it. Give it a good shake or agitate it very well. Agitate it about every 3 days or so. Store it in a cool, dark area. And 8 weeks time, you have some amazing flavored vinegar. And like I said, you'll strain this if you want to, or you can leave it like this until you eat all the scapes out. You can strain it, use it in bases for salad dressings and marinades. You can also, of course, use it in pickle recipes as well. Oh, it's wonderful in pickle recipes. Anything that you'd use vinegar for. This is also wonderful to use in fire cider as well. But you want to let it sit for at least 8 weeks. Now, at the 8-week mark, you do not have to strain it. It's going to be perfectly fine. This is pure vinegar. Pure vinegar, folks. It's going to be fine. Now, if you want to, you can store it in your refrigerator. You really don't have to. But if it makes you feel safer, you can. But in a dark, cool pantry or let me think, cabinet, that will work fine. Just remember to agitate it every 3 or so days to make sure that there's no air bubbles. Everything's getting circulated around. Do not worry. Some of them will float, some of them will sink, but they will soften up a little more, and they will take on the flavor of everything that you put in this vinegar. So let's get this second jar going. But I absolutely love making flavored vinegars. They can be used for so many things. And yes, definitely for canning as well. Woohoo, I got a little bit of vinegar left. But just imagine how wonderful This infused flavored vinegar would be in your pickle recipes. I mean, any kind of pickle. Pickled okra. Yeah, David Hunt, I went there. Pickled okra. It would be great for pickled zucchini, pickled squash, cucumbers, of course. Anything that you would like to pickle. Now, I wouldn't say so much for fruit, but if it's a vegetable pickle, go on that. If it's a vegetable pickle, you can definitely use it. Make sure that your plastic wrap is on there really good. If it does rip on you, just put another piece on there. And like I said, write on the lid what's in it. And don't worry, this won't seal, so it's going to pop. It'll be fine. It doesn't mean nothing's wrong with it. Agitate it real good. Make sure all those flavors mingle. Now, is that not just absolutely beautiful? Look at that. The lemons, all that wonderfulness. Simple, easy, anybody can do this. Anybody can. Believe in yourself. As long as you have garlic scapes, you can do this. You can also do this with chives, the blooms and the stems, and also onion scapes as well. Unless you're trying to grow onion seed, then no, do not collect your onion scapes. And as for garlic, I don't let it go to seed because I prefer to plant the cloves because you'll get a harvest a whole lot faster than you will by seed. Alright, I'm going to pause the video, get set up for the second part of this video, and I'll see you back here in just a little bit. Okay, on to the second part of this video, and it's dehydrating the hard part of the scapes. This is what happens when they grow a little too big. Not their fault, my fault for not harvesting them on time. But you know what? I'm not going to waste them because I'm going to dehydrate them and then I'm going to powder them up and then I'll have garlic scape powder. Waste not, want not, and I'm extremely frugal when I possibly can. Now, I have 2 trays out. I'm going to try to keep the stems on their own trays. Now, I'm going to be using way more than 2 trays. But what I'm going to do is try to keep the flowers on one tray and the stems on another. I'm going to, separate them, keep them separate because the flowers will dehydrate faster than the big stems will. So what I'm going to do is cut the flowers. Now, I know you know better than that. Go on, Skeeter. I'm not even safe in the shed. And I have my mats on my trays because as you can see, the little parts of the flowers will come loose. And you want to try to save everything because everything has a very nice garlic scent to it. And as for stems, you're going to need a really good sharp knife or a pair of boning scissors, or you can use gardening shears. But you want to cut them up so that they're in smaller pieces and they'll dehydrate completely. And when I'll show you how I'm going to stack them in the dehydrator. But I do not want to waste any of this wonderful blessings that I only get once a year. Now, if you wanted to, you could also take the flowers, buds here, and you could put them in vinegar, make the same kind of vinegar. Because you don't want to waste any of this, because it's wonderful. And you just keep cutting them up because you want to give them room to dehydrate. And I'm not worried if they stand up or down, because I'm blessed to have an airflow dehydrator. It pushes air, so it dries a whole lot more evenly. The smaller buds, flower buds, you can just cut those babies in half. The bigger ones, you want to cut them down just a little bit. And that's what I'm going to keep doing. Keep my stems on one tray, my flowers on the other trays. And I know I'm going to end up with probably 2 trays of each, but that's perfectly fine. And I will bring you back as soon as I get it all done and show you how I'm going to set it up. See you here in a little bit. Okay, my gracious, that was a love affair of a job there. I know I love garlic scapes, but man, I have 3 trays. Uh-oh, I heard it. 3 trays of chopped up stems. There it is, no Scapes. And I have 2 trays of sliced. Uh-oh. You gotta watch them constantly because they try to escape. I have 3 trays of stems and 2 trays of the flower buds. And let me tell you, it smells so good in here. If you love garlic, oh my gracious. And I'm going to put the lid on. And don't worry if your lid doesn't fit perfectly on. It will go down as they dehydrate. And I'm going to plug this in. I'm going to head home because I'm tired. And I will bring you back in the morning when I check these. And then we'll make the powder as long as they are completely dry. Everyone, I'll see you in the morning. Take care. Okay, welcome back. It's the next morning. They are completely dry. I have cut the dehydrator off, took the lid off, and let them acclimate to room temperature. They need to cool down before you try to grind them. And see, they are definitely crispy. Of course, I'll wash my trays after a while. There we go. You can definitely hear it that time. You want to definitely make sure that they are completely dry. And they're like little rocks. And hard as rocks too. I'm going to pause and move the dehydrator so I have a little bit more room. Okay, that's a whole lot better. I got a little more elbow room. And as you can hear, they are dry as can be. Now I'm going to use my blender that has an ice crush selection on it. And that way I know it'll powder it up. You're going to want a good clean storage jar, which you could get away probably with a pint with this, but I'm staying hopeful, and a funnel, that way no messes. Now, of course, you're going to want to do it in small batches so it has room to move around. Make sure that everything is completely dry, and I'm going to only put you through once, having to listen to the blender. We have it. Now if you wanted to, you could sift it and get the bigger particles out of it. I'm not worried about that because I'm still going to use it. This would be, you use it the same you would as garlic powder. Oh, what smells good. Like I said, there'll be some bigger particles. I'm probably going to run it back through once I get everything ground up. And I'm going to finish this batch of grinding, and I will bring you back as soon as I'm done. I am excited about this. See you here in a bit. Okay, I am done, and I run it through the blender extra time, and look how beautiful and powdered. I got it. It's all nice and fine, and I ended up with 1.5 cups of garlic scape powder. And just to think, it's made out of the hard part of the scapes and the buds, which a lot of people do not use. They just throw them away because they're hard. No, waste not, want not. Now, of course, these won't be as strong as garlic, but they are just as flavorful as garlic. And what I'm going to do later on, I'm going to move it down to a smaller jar, and I'm going to vacuum seal it so it'll stay fresh longer. But you want to write on your lid, garlic scape powder, and this is 5. Well, if I can get this marker to write. Okay, I'll figure it out. 5/22, May of 22. And it will stay good as long as you keep, because I need to move it down. I was not sure, because last time I ground powder up, it made way more than I expected. So I'm going to move it down to either 2 jelly jars, maybe might get 3, I don't know. But at least 2 jelly jars, and then vacuum seal them. Label the jars again and make sure that they're put back for future use. Wonderful in eggs. You can add it to soups. Anything you'd add garlic or garlic powder to. Spaghetti sauce, you name it. It's wonderful. Garlic bread, but you got the garlic Scape butter for that one. Well, this ends, unfortunately, my garlic Scape series because all my Scapes have been harvested. And even though it's a sad time, I am beyond thankful because not only have I made a garlic Scape stir fry, I made garlic Scape butter, I've made garlic Scape infused vinegar, and now garlic Scape powder from what people call the waste. Simple, easy, anybody can do this. You gotta believe in yourself, that's all. Because you can do anything as long as you believe in yourself. Make it and put it back, because spices are just as important as food, because you don't want to be eating plain food coming down in the future. Now, I'll have the recipe for the vinegar in the description box below, and there's a bonus recipe in the description box for one I didn't get to make, but I really wanted to, but that's okay. As long as don't hit the fan by next year, I'll be making garlic Scape pickles, and that recipe's in the description box below, and it is amazing. I hope you've enjoyed this video and it inspires you to grow your garlic, because all of this is just a bonus from being able to grow garlic. Simple, easy, and yes, you also can do it. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask them in the comment section below. I will answer them as soon as possible. Everyone, take care, stay positive, stay safe, keep your head on a swivel, continue to prep, stock, and put back whatever you can. I look forward to seeing you in my next video, and may you each be blessed. I'll see you soon.